July 16th. Everybody could rise and say the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Deputy Clerk Williams, call roll.
Trustee Brown. Trustee Clark.
Here.
Trustee Lynch. Trustee Roll.
Here.
Trustee Taylor. Trustee Williams.
This man, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the board meeting minutes of July 2nd, 2024. Trustee Taylor. Trustee Clark. Any questions, corrections?
I have one. Budget the fire number. And I said, and here it says that otherwise I would have said yes. That's not what I said. What I said, the reason why I voted, if I said that, I would have voted yes. The reason why I said I voted no was because I was not confident that we would be able to budget that cost right now. Although I do think we need it, I wasn't confident here in the information that we could afford it right now, so I make the minutes to be amended that I said that.
Trustee Taylor, will you amend your motion? Trustee Clark, will you amend your motion? Any additional corrections, questions? Deputy Clerk Williams, call roll.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Trustee Roll.
Yes.
Trustee Lynch. Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Brown. Yes.
Treasurer Hart told me that she's unable to make it this evening, so I'll do the bills payable. Bills payable July 10th, 2024 corporate, $164,095.12. Sewer and water, $173,850.87. Glenway Golf Course, $51,056.80. TIF Halsted North, $83,039. TIF Halsted South, $4,279.50. For a total ball fund of $476,321.29. Somebody like to make a motion?
So moved.
Trustee Williams, do we have a second?
Second.
Trustee Clark, is there any questions? Deputy Clerk Williams, call the roll.
Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Lynch. Trustee Roll.
Yes.
Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Payroll as of the date of July 12th, 2024, corporate $136,571. Sewer and water $18,109.15. Paid on call $10,377.36. Glenwood Golf Course $37,103.59. Vendor checks $2,771 a penny. Overtime, police overtime $13,993.10. Reimbursable $747.81. Sewer and water $2,105.08. Public Works overtime $1,133.50. Economic development stipend $461.53. Administrative stipend $1,442.32. Treasurer's stipend $878.48 for a total payroll of $224,067.62. Would somebody like to make a motion? Trustee Taylor.
Second.
Trustee Roll. Any questions? Deputy Clerk Williams, call roll.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Trustee Roll.
Yes.
Trustee Lynch. Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Brown. Yes.
The meeting's now open to the public. All you need to come up and write your name and address down, and you can proceed to the board.
Good evening, Lloyd Wheeler, 413 Dorchester Avenue, Woodward. I will try to be brief. anyone questioning. Is your mic on?
Should we button it?
Yes.
Okay.
Green button is good. You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, I can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem speaking up.
Speak up.
This question is to Mr. Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell, as you know, you and I met on June 21st, and I would like to follow up on that meeting. The meeting was about my request of the village in helping me or helping the community to establish a safer entryway onto our beautiful trails that we have. As you know, I have asked, this is going into my second year, trying to get cooperation from you guys, from the village. I don't know if you remember, but it is. We did speak with the mayor, I did, on the Juneteenth celebration, and also Mr. Williams and Mr. Mitchell. So I was able to come up here on June 21st and bring the documentation that I have, that I've already started the process for that. And all I need is village and community support. Have you contacted?
So I made contact with Quincy that we used to hustle. When we first started this request, we had it go through Al Kinder, who's a special assistant to Tony Preckwinkle. I made him aware of the efforts you made in terms of the two things that you provided, and the third thing they wanted was a letter of support from the village.
Yes.
He respectfully asked me to wait to send that letter because he wanted to have a conversation with Tony Preckwinkle before it went to them to make sure that we get done.
Well, regardless, I don't know the process of that, because all they were asking for, which I have documentation, and as of July the 6th, I was told that you had not contacted me. So all they were asking, and now I'm mixed up on paper, please bear with me, was documentation of local support. Is the only remaining requirement that must be met before we can conduct a formal review of your trail request. The Forest Preserve is dedicated to applying our mission and future investments in the most equitable way. Documentation of local support allows us to better understand the broader public interest and support from other organizations or bodies of government. I don't know how many of you are able to read Glenwood Did We Know, but if you don't, you can look it up, and I did put an article in there. I'm not going to hold you up, I'll just give you a brief view. I've already went to the Forest Preserve website. There is a form that you have to fill out, and on that form, which Mr. Williams, he's worked in highways and whatnot, he understands it. I put on there my request, and I explained to them it was west of I-394 bridge at Glenwood Lansing Road, okay? And I told them the overgrowth of tall trees and grasses and gravel, you know, onto the path, which is called the Thorn Creek Trail. Long story short, I am requesting of the Forest Preserve, there is an entryway at Glenwood Lansing Road and Dante. When I moved here in 1992-93, that path you will be able to see. They have not been taking care of that. I walked the trail for years and years. I rode my bike for years and years. Also, you look at the corner of Cottage Grove and Glenwood Lansing Road. There's a dip. There's really no safe entry going to the path. Now my concern is this. They have a position paper, and you can read it online. We did make a request. First of all, it says, two of your requests. At this time, your request meets the first two criteria. If you would like to know what they are, they were located in the Illinois Natural Preserve, so exclusive use defined as position papers. But it didn't meet the third, which was request has support from municipality or local organization. So So that's what is missing.
I'm glad to know, just tell me who to send it to, and I'll glad to do a letter of support.
Mr. Mitchell?
Right, so, and that's what I was saying.
No, I'm sorry, I heard exactly what you said. You said before you could contact Mr. Pascal, you wanted to contact someone else to make sure that they would contact Puerto Rico to make sure that we could get what we're done. I mean, that's politics. All I was just asking you to do was get a letter from the village to support.
Okay, but if you recall, this started with Al Kendall, and Trustee Williams, you recall that as well. That can I finish?
Sure.
That he started working on the request before you went through this process with the other two pieces of criteria. You and I met, I fully understand what was left, but when I reached back out to Mr. Kendall, he said, before you submit that, let me have a conversation and try to get this done another way, which would be quicker. So he said all he needed was a couple weeks. The letter of support is nothing for us to do. That's easy.
Okay. Then, that's easy then. Why can't we do a letter of support and also whatever interest that this other fellow has, he can, pull the strings.
Okay. Only reason I did not do the letter, because out of respect for him, he said, before you send a letter, let me have a conversation. Now, if you want, we can send a letter. It's not a problem.
I would like you to send a letter.
Okay, thank you very
Thank
much.
you. The point is that it's been 2 years, and I asked the village to do it. I'm a taxpayer. I'm not on the board of trustees. I don't operate in the village. I'm not an employee in the village. My point is this. I made a request. My request did not cost the village any money at all. I was not requesting money. I feel that the entryway onto the path would bring more usage for the trail and also improvement for our community, which would bring added value. If you would drive east to Glenwood Lansing Road, or we can go on and on, where they finished paving east of the 394, which you and I had that discussion, because the bridge is IDOT, anything off the bridge is Cook County. Well, they still haven't paved west of 394. I've questioned about that. I've had contact with those. But these are things that I've asked the village to do. I'm not in government. I don't know how government operates. I'm sure your position is very difficult. I don't know if any of you understand the operations of government, but I do know one thing, that the municipality has a responsibility to the taxpayers. And the taxpayers bring their concerns, which are simple concerns that the municipality's responsibilities are, and which are what? You know them, I don't have to write them down, but I have a few that's written down. To make sure we have transportation, planning and zoning, utilities, economic stability, things like that, roads, safety, all of those things. Those are concerns of the citizen. My concern was of the citizen. As a citizen, why one half of Glenwood Dyer Road can get done all the way through Indiana, and no one in our village could contact the proper authorities, whoever's over Cook County, Bloom Township, whoever. I don't understand it. It makes no sense. I feel like you all show partiality. As I said before, I get a little upset because I feel like you might, I don't know if I have Indians written up above my head or stupid or what, but that's not so. If I can go online and I can find the information and I don't know anything about government, then I don't understand why someone from the village couldn't do the same. Fellow citizen said something about you should have the capital improvement plan. Most definitely. I visited the website. I don't know if you all look at our website regularly, and I respect you, Ms. Rowe, for your comments on the last meeting. But unfortunately, they don't have stick to the minutes. So this is the time for us to come forward to, say what we have to say. We don't have a capital improvement plan. I've also asked, why don't we have a strategic plan? Why don't we have someone come in to, do something into, for the Halsted Water to find out what businesses. I know you have, economic development plan, which I respect their hard work. I do. Like I said, I'm sure it's hard work, and I don't understand it. And I don't pretend that I do. But I know if I was in the position, as I'm doing now, trying to learn and trying to find out, that's what I would do. So all I'm asking is that the trustees, you, the mayor, the administrators, or whoever, would just take our concerns more seriously. Because they are concerns and they're not for selfish reasons. They're for the betterment of our community. I have a lot more to say, but that's it. So yes, I believe if you would get that letter, that would help, because they do have a deadline where they review these things for the budget.
Ryan, let's get a letter out tomorrow.
Thank you.
Hello. I'll be brief. I'll make a couple quick corrections. There was discussion at the last meeting about the time limit being 3 or 5 minutes. I'm going to read to you May 18th, 2021, OEMs. A motion amending Chapter 2 of Glenwood's Code of Ordinances to add a new section addressing public comment at Bill 4 meetings. Trustee Lynch made the motion, seconded by Trustee Clark. Here is the discussion that we,
Second by, I'm sorry, who seconded?
May 18th, 2021. Trustee Lynch made the motion. Trustee Clark seconded the motion. So the discussion went as follows. It's only a paragraph. The discussion open was inquiring if this ordinance would be implemented consistently or depending on how large the audience was. Trustee Dawson requested that the ordinance amendment included allowing residents to return to the back of the line for public comment. Trustee Lynch expressed that the public comment should be consistent for every meeting. The gist of it was Trustee Hart made the motion to change it from 3 minutes to 5 minutes. And unfortunately, the ordinance on our website still shows 3. But it should be 5.
It's somebody second or?
Yes, yes. So Trustee Hart made the motion to make 5, seconded by Trustee Lynch. Okay, there were 4 ayes, Clark, Dawson, Hart, and Lynch. 2 nays, myself, and Trustee Winston. All right. So I just want to clear it up so that there's no future confusion.
As you know, we don't enforce that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going to say it.
Okay.
So I just thought I'd bring it up. So tonight, President Gardner, I'm going to ask you to do the public and the taxpayers of Glenwood a huge service. According to your board packet, you have over $8 million in TIF funds on hand. So I'm going to ask you to ask the attorney to prepare the information to declare a $4 million surplus. And with that $4 million, this is how I think we should move. So if you declare a $4 million surplus, 25% approximately will go to the village. That would be $1 million. And I'm thinking, and I'm sure I'm pretty close, there are 2,000 owner-occupied homes. I would not give it to the landlords, but each and every homeowner in Glenwood would get a $500 rebate. So I'd like you to work on that, and I'll come back in a few weeks to see how you're doing with it. Thank you.
Excuse me. I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, the last thing you, because I was writing it down.
Oh.
$500.
So the way it's supposed to work is I address the board chair responds.
Well, you were walking away, so.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, excuse me. I mean, you were walking away, so, I mean, I'm like.
Would you like me to answer your question?
Yeah, so
For which one?
you said each homeowner
We
would
receive
get
a $500
$100.
rebate from the
name is George Engelfaller. I'd like to address what this woman went through. I've been dealing with the Forest Preserve 6-8 years trying to get different things done. The latest thing they did, I live on Maple, they quit mowing the grass behind the north side of Maple. And it comes down to, if you look around, there's several places. When I talk to employees, they told me flat out, it's strictly economics. They put up the sign saying, we want nature to come back. We want this. That's bullshit. Plain and simple. I've been dealing with them, and all they get around, she's filed everything right, and I hate to say it, they're probably laughing at her. They don't take this serious at all. All that grass is growing up behind these houses. Nothing but critters, bugs, and kids are sneaking through there, checking out the houses. And then they tell you that if you cut the grass, we're going to give you a ticket. For years, and I mean, I've been here 40 years, over 40 years, there's never been a problem. Now it's an economical thing, but they're using, you go over here and walk them, they used to be maintained very well, not anymore. Strictly economics. I've been trying to push, they have canoes or kayaks over there. I've talked to heads, people who are in charge of this. Well, we'll get back to you. And that's all. You've been doing this for 5 years. I never get an answer. I give them my name, I give them address. I said, do you come out here every summer? Kids come out here in canoes, that youth furnished, that's okay. But if a citizen comes out for a canoe, you want to give them a ticket. This is nothing but economics, and it's plain and simple as that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to address the board?
Good evening, everyone. I was trying to resist. The issue is, it was something that came up that's on the social media, is that a number of the finance committee members resigned. And I'm concerned about that, in as much as that the finance committee obviously is the leg that does a lot of the analysis that goes to the board for the board to make final decisions. And we need to address that, because that is a concern. Our own citizens do not have faith in the process to the point that we have basically mass resignations. It's concerning. And I need to have some kind of explanation as to how do we, in effect, keep that necessary step before the board has to make decisions financially. And so I'm not asking for you to address that, but I think that does concern me as a resident of the village, is that if there was frustration among the finance committee members, we need to deal with the cause of that.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to address the board? Okay. Communications from the mayor's office. Everybody knows we had a very bad storm last night. Town is starting to restore power. I think Public Works, Fire Department, Police Department, etc. We had a lot of fallen trees, especially on the west side of town. A lot of power outages. Town is working as quick as they can, and they're hoping by tomorrow. This village hall didn't get power until about 6 o'clock. So that's the cool thing. During the day it was unbearable. But I want to thank like I said, I want to thank Public Works and the fire department, with Administrator Mitchell. We went out last night, and it was just as you go, especially on the west side of town, you see, 65-year-old trees snapped off. So it was a disaster, but we got through as much as we can. We have a motion to table the discussion of internal controls, process, and accountability.
So,
Trustee Williams. We have a second. Trustee Clark. Deputy Clerk Williams, and call roll.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Taylor. Trustee Roll. Trustee Lynch. Trustee Clark. Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Attorney Donahue.
Thank you, Mayor. One item, looking for approval of a resolution finding that the Tufty Family Foundation has met the requirements necessary for the waiver of its 2024 mortgage.
Somebody like to make a motion for approval establishing a resolution funding the Tuffley Family Foundation as met the requirements necessary for the waiver of the 2024 mortgage payment. What this is when they moved in, they had to have a certain number of employees that they, how many was it, 24? 10? Okay. So they have to make sure that they had jobs that when we did the redevelopment agreement that was part of it.
Yeah, this goes back to 2013. We sold them a piece of property, and to avoid having them in a situation where we didn't want them to just flip it or sell it to someone else and make a lot of money on it, so we wanted to make sure they were going to occupy it and use it and have jobs. So to kind of guarantee that, one of the sales price was $400,000 cash, which they paid at closing, and an additional forgivable mortgage in the amount of $350,000, which was payable by then over time. But that would be waived if they met the requirements of they owned the property, they had insurance, they had jobs and things like that. So there's no outlay money from the village that we're supposed to get back. This was just kind of a trick to prevent them, make sure that they actually use the property and had employees there and continue to occupy it. And they did that. This is the last payment. It's a forgiveness of $14,002. And once that's forgiven, we also are approving a release of the document, so we'll have a formal release recorded to the recorder's office.
Just so everybody knows, this is the Tuffley buildings in the industrial park over by the roller rink, and they have it rented to United Rentals, which is a very large company. So we'd like to make a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Steve Roll. Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
Yes, sir.
Trustee Williams. Any questions?
I have a question. So, excuse me, it says that they made a cash payment of $400,000, and we forgave $350,000?
No. We have the cash, and it's what's called a forgivable mortgage, in which they give us a mortgage in the amount of $350,000. It has nothing to do with the $400,000. We have that cash. This was just a technique in order to prevent them from turning around and selling the property real quick to someone else and making quick money and getting out of town. We wanted to make sure they stayed in town, continued to own the property, and supply some jobs there, continue to be a benefit to the citizens of London. That's all that forgivable mortgage is for. The village is not paying any money that we're getting back. It was just kind of a technique to keep them in town and to allow them to provide that they're actually going to be a good corporate partner and use and occupy the property for the benefit of the village.
Any other questions? Clerk Williams, you call roll.
Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Trustee Clark. Trustee Lynch, here. Trustee Roll.
Yes.
Trustee Taylor. Trustee Williams.
And motion carried. You know what, I meant to look here in my comments, I also wanted to tell everybody here, this hot weather, and the lack of electricity, check on your neighbors. Make sure everybody's okay. If you do that, knock on your neighbor's door and make sure they're okay. Village Administrator, Ryan Mitchell.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, residents, and guests this evening. A couple updates. As you know, just like the Mayor said, we had a pretty significant storm come through last night about 9:35. At which time we had the entire crew from Public Works coming in. They have worked all the way up through this afternoon, clearing the streets is the first thing, make sure that they have safe travel for police, fire, for people going to work as well.
overall summary?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've been working on several projects for the village for about a year and a half now. We've recently been given some assistance with Adam and New Brian. Where we're at, from the original position we were in, we are working on getting everything through April 30th of this year, 2024. I would say at this point, out of the roughly, we have a significant amount of it completed. I was talking with Brian over there earlier. Based on our current trajectory, my hopefully conservative expectation is to be done with the work that we were set out to do in September, by the end of September. That's conservative. My goal is to get it done as fast as possible, but we want to make sure we do the job properly and that we set everything up in a position where any absences or things of that nature don't cause a backwards momentum, so it can be carried forward, I guess is what I'm saying, on a regular basis. So that is the brief update.
Any questions for Jeff?
Yes.
Sure.
So with the addition to Brian Willow,
Yes.
how close are we to getting reports and financial statements?
So, in my opinion, you can ask him that a little further. My scope is mainly on the bank account side and making sure that's all getting in the system properly. From that perspective, we do have reports that we can run, but they're not fully completed yet, and Brian's helping coordinate with us to get the rest of the information in there as well. So we're working together on that aspect of it.
Yeah, we've made significant progress on trying to get entries ready to go into the general ledger. Or pointedly at labor, not that payroll was being missed, but actually being booked into the general ledger. There was a problem with the interface once the community went on to Paylocity. So we figured out how to upload all those. So we're ready to post those this week. We do still have 3 outstanding payroll runs that were just before Paylocity went into place, so we can't get those into the general ledger yet. We're hoping by the end of this week. And if we can get that, then it'll give us a pretty good standing of expenses for the village. I'll put the caveat that we still need to work through some things with the golf course. But based on being able to upload entries, I move pretty quickly with that because we're basically ready to go. It's just we need to tie up some of the loose ends on both sides of that.
And then I have one more question, and this is an overall finance question. How are we with preparation for the audit?
We're still status quo on that. We missed a bunch of 2022 invoices that we're still trying to locate. There are 3 audit sections that I have to complete. Capital assets, accounts payable, include payroll. So I have the approved payroll portion. I don't have the other 2 because I don't have invoices. So what we have to do is we have to do the search for unrecorded liabilities and search for unrecorded fixed assets. That terminology was misconstrued last time I talked. It's audit terminology. What you're doing is you're doing a threshold test of every expenditure greater than $5,000 to make sure that it's in the proper accounting period. It's not unrecorded in the fact that it's unrecorded. It's unrecorded in the correct fiscal year. So we're still looking for those invoices. We can't move forward until we have those invoices. Harvard was working on that for me, and I believe we're transitioning that over to the part-time home, correct? Yeah, so I'll get a status update on that.
So maybe next week we can have it.
Is there a possibility that we can get another report in August? Keep us abreast of how far we're going.
Oh, and mine? For my end?
Either or both.
I have no
question? So the budget started, the new fiscal year is May 1st, right, May? And you expect it to be done by, or the audit, whatever, to be done by November? I know that's the month that we asked you.
You're talking about two separate things. The annual fiscal audit is separate items in the budget. So we're talking about 2022 fiscal audit. We did an opinion from a third party, CPA firm, on the financial statements. What Brian here in finance is completing is the budget for 2025, which starts May 1st, 2024. Last year, we did that in November. The expectations is to have that completed in August.
How many invoices are you looking for, and how long have you been looking for them, and where are you looking?
I delegated that to Ms. Hart. It's been about 2 months since I sent her the list. She went through closets in the finance director's office, cleaned all that up. There's another closet outside of the finance director's office. I believe the last spot to work is in the basement.
In my opinion, that's a lot of paperwork for one person to go through. So if it's taking her 2 months, just one person, how much longer do we have to find these invoices before we can move forward?
You have to find those ones, so you can't move forward without them. The next step would be requesting those businesses for the copy of those invoices.
Well, why didn't we do that anyway? While she's looking for them, if it's taking so long, why did we request those invoices instead of saying that's our last reason?
That's a lot unnecessary. Most businesses do not send duplicate invoices, and especially if you're gonna send them a list of, probably 5 or 10 times, I'm just spitballing here, 20, 30 businesses, that's a lot to ask for. We had trouble getting remittances from ComEd and Anchor for revenue, and that was just 12 months, times 3 years.
Okay, so let's say she doesn't find them. Let's just say she doesn't find them because she doesn't work here full time.
We had 2 people working there full time now, and they're in the building somewhere. They were not thrown away. We saw the finance office before, Ms. Hart rearranged it. It was just stacks upon stacks of paper. So they're here in a box somewhere. We just have to look.
Sir, what is your first name? I'm sorry, I didn't hear. John?
John.
Hi, John. Hi. How long have you been doing what you're doing for us? I'm new to the board, so how long have you been?
Sure. We started back in March of 2023 with a specific objective of getting all of the various bank accounts reconciled. They had not been done since approximately August of 2022. And so that was our initial goal, and that's what we started on. In around October is when the AP person who had taken absence, we helped Brian fill that role. And we put in processes in place, and that's how we're getting the checks and everything for the board. We spent about 4 or 5 months doing that work, which was actually the majority of the work, if not a very significant amount of the time and expenses that we were doing that. We kind of had to stop the big thing and take care of the APs thing in order to make sure all the checks and letters get paid. So for the past 4 or 5 months, I would say at least half of our time was spent doing that, and that's why we're very happy now that there's been a couple other resources added to the team, which has allowed us to kind of get some more things done that are more focused on the original goal.
How long do you think it's going to take you to fulfill your mission?
Our original mission, as I mentioned earlier, my conservative goal, and my personal goal, assuming there's no other issues that are coming up that I don't know, I want to be out by September 30th. I should say I want to be completed by September 30th. I would love to get done sooner, but you just don't know what's around the corner. So, as I said, the best help has been with Brian coming on board. He's here all the time. Adam's help has been very good, and we've learned a lot of information about the village and how everything is flowing in the system. We knew none of that when we walked in. There was nobody to train us. There was no documentation, no good processes. It had been a gap of about 6 months since anybody had attended to this material and these reconciliations. So we walked into a situation that was completely unknown. So it took a lot of work to even learn the accounting software, where everything was, and go through all the stacks of, papers to try to have everything organized. So I know it's been a long process. I don't think I or anybody else, had intended for it to be this long, but there's been a lot of moving parts in it.
I think we just wanted to see what's happening. That's all.
Sure.
Just as a, a status check or something like that.
Sure.
How many hours a week does your staff spend?
On average, I look from the beginning to now, it was approximately 25 hours a month. Recently, with the accounts payable or with the AP help that we provided, I believe in the last, let's say, 6 months, we're averaging right around 60. So about 2 days a week is the amount of time that we have been using for both the reconciliations and the accounts payable position.
Do you think that's enough time?
For the accounts payable position?
Like for your goal of September?
Yes, yes. I think our 16 hours a week roughly, or whatever that number is sufficient. If we see a path where we can get it done sooner, I would definitely apply more resources to get that done sooner, by all means. I'm a very efficient guy, I don't like wasting time. I've been on the other end, and I had to bring in a consultant to help. I know that money is a concern. You don't want to be paying something if you don't want to. But so I get both sides. And I don't want to waste your money. That's not my goal.
Understand. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
One last question. And I think this is another general question, so we're prepared to answer. And I think the public has asked this question. What is our transition or timeline to where we would have a Cooper or an app? What is that time frame look like?
So we've already started the transition process. As much as I can, I'm moving to Brian without overwhelming him. As far as like a specific time frame, we have not laid that out. My expectation is daily operations. Brian will fulfill those, and then John and his company will slowly roll off as Brian becomes comfortable. I'm more historical perspective, like audit. I will, as soon as Brian tell me that they're ready to have me roll off, I'm ready to roll off.
Even though it's a pleasure work, I'm just
So
exactly.
both of our contracts are hourly, so it's not like we have retainers or anything. It's when we're here, we're working, we're getting paid based on that hourly contract. So both Brian's have control over both of our schedules and can dictate when they need us and when they don't need us. And I can't speak on that yet, but as long as you need me, I'm just a phone call away. If you don't need me, I don't get paid.
Thanks, John.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Dan. Department reports, fire and building, Chief Wells.
Good evening, everybody. On your agenda tonight is one approval for Fire Station 2, and I do give you the update. There's a budget spreadsheet on there that Treasurer Hart and I had worked on originally. She got pulled in about 30 different directions here, so we kind of get caught up. So there are some things, there are some savings that we recognize and some things that I missed, but those won't affect what we have tonight. This item we have on the agenda tonight is actually coming in under what the original budgeted amount was. And this is for the concrete floor on the second level. When I did the first set of bids, I did the foundation, the footing, and the floor inside the truck bay. That has all been completed. But on the rest of the concrete, I had proposed that we do concrete all the way around the station where the offices are now and where the firefighters used to park. But I saved that asphalt so I can save some of that money for concrete. So all in all, the bids came in for that second floor of concrete for $51,552, and the low bidder was Concrete by Wagner at $46,035. You'll see that there was $7,000 remaining on the original contract for the foundation, footing, and floor. And then in the driveway concrete quote, there's $79,000. So I'll make up the difference of the 7 to the 46, so about 39 of that 79, and it still gives me $40,000 to do the 2 driveway appurtenances in and out of the station in the back where the 3 bays are. That's more than enough to do that, patch the asphalt and steel coated. The importance of this is I can't move forward. We're putting the stairs in. We're getting the framing going on the second floor until I get this work done. It's somewhat technical because they have to use the concrete. You've seen those trucks, they come out and pump it up to the second floor. Get that completed, and all the framing will go. I don't know if you've been by there recently, but the apparatus floor has been poured, the underground drains have all been put in and connected to the sewer. The fire sprinkler company started today. The garage doors are up on the bay doors, and they're completing the spring installation and all the openers and all of that stuff. The roof is on and secured. Stainless steel siding is ordered. It'll be in about 2 weeks. The windows for the second floor are ordered. They will be arriving in 3 weeks. Then those will be put in tomorrow. The company will be here to put the windows in the first floor office area and the doors, and then we'll be able to secure that property and get rid of that construction fence. That's what I'm working toward, get rid of that fence and clean that area up. I've got 2 of the firefighters who came ahead and volunteered to do the landscaping. I think in my budget I had, for landscaping, I had $5,000 and we were going to get about $1,500. I got the flagpole donated for free, so every day I work to try and control the cost. But this is one I need to get approved.
So we'd like to make a motion for the approval of the contract, fire station number 2, second floor concrete, concrete by Wagner, not to exceed $46,035. Trustee Taylor, with second. Trustee Roll, any questions?
So, I noticed in your memo, it's $7,000 remaining, correct?
That's the $7,000. It's not remaining, but it is the differential in the line item. If you go to the line item on foundation, footings, and apparatus floor up towards the top, that was estimated at $140,000. That came in at $133,000. So that's where I credited that $7,000. And if you go down to the down where it says driveways toward the bottom, in the original budget amount of $79,000, I need $39,000 of that to complete this work. And then I'll cut the amount of concrete we do on the outside driveways.
And then are we making the transfers from the TIF to the general fund?
I don't have an answer to that question, but whenever any bill comes in, and I think Brian seen it, Adam's seen it, everyone is specifically noted on there. This is the fire station 2 invoice. Even the ones for like screws and nails from Menards, each individual shows Halsted North TIF. It's very clearly identified. And I've been watching the printouts, so it is coming from the TIF fund, all of that money. And this one too.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Chief, your memo says that this is a working document, and you've been working with Treasurer Hart to refine the numbers. So which document, you mean your budget? This
That's
is
the
a working
budget,
document?
that budget sheet, and when I last sat, we spent a couple hours on it a couple of weeks ago. She suggested that we would combine some of those line items to make it an easier document to follow. Just hasn't had time to complete that yet. There is gonna be, it's gonna go over budget on $1,485,000. I just don't know exactly how much yet, but hopefully by the next board meeting, I'll have a report on that for you.
Yeah, can you update this, because March 1st is the last budget that's in here.
I haven't, I mean, we made corrections on this and added, the vendors and
You
things,
sit
but,
down with the lead and update everything?
right, that's what we're trying to do. We just haven't been able to get back together.
How much did you say that it was gonna be over budget?
I don't have an estimate on that. Our original budget approval was $1,480,500. I don't even want to take a wild guess. 250,000 maybe?
And that's not including the pumper, that's just this.
Correct.
Oh, one is, oh yeah, this is the fire station, the other one was the,
Correct.
Any other questions? If we quick Williams and call roll.
wait a minute. How are we gonna pay for this?
To tip Julie Spence.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Trustee Roll.
Yes.
Mr. Lynch is not here. Trustee Clark. Trustee Brown.
If we have the money for it and it's coming out of the tip, then I'll say yes.
Anybody have any new business? Any old business? Somebody like to make a motion to adjourn? Trustee Taylor, do we have a second? Trustee Clark, Deputy Clerk Williamson, call the roll.
Trustee Brown.
Yeah.
Trustee Clark. Trustee Roll. Trustee Taylor. Trustee Williams.
Everybody try and stay cool.